Another iconic model to anyone that's watched the anime or even played the few localized games that we did snag. It is TOT01 Keithturtle, with a kit of triple laser, tank legs, and the leg ability of charge shot, which passively buffs the success and power of equipped shooting parts upon meeting a certain Metaforce threshold. Now, as an iconic model the way he is definitely a very well-known model. A lot of folks here on the western community will know this guy particularly well, especially for his rather sluggish movements and his very dangerous power output if used correctly. And all the same, he has stuck around for a very long number of years now, ever since Medarot 2, and all the same has remained very faithful ever since. Laser, on all three parts, is an optic attribute skill, which means it will get a times 1.5 damage bonus at a 30% Metaforce charge, and a times 2 bonus at 100% charge. Now, normally when it comes to things like laser or beam or hyper beam, your first thought is to pair it off with something like charge plant or full charge, so you can use that damage bonus right from start. But even as clunky as Keithturtle is, he honestly can use the kit moderately well, even if he is lacking in the speed department. He does make up for it with a very massive amount of bulk at almost 3,000 or more HP per part. Very solid reduction stats on his legs, and given that he is tank-legged, he already does come packing with some passive damage reduction to keep the already incoming damage moderately low to a point, as long as it doesn't quickly cripple him. And even if laser the first couple times isn't something that won't have a whole lot of power at base, even for a 2-star model, he's actually packing a surprisingly high base power across the board, at between 1600 or even higher, depending on which arm or the head part you're using, before any modifiers are applied are factored into play. That being said, he honestly will have a very solid base power from start, so even if the first hit won't be super strong, it will be just enough to get a Metaforce threshold up and running so he can hit just a little bit harder. And as mentioned, because he is a 2-star model, he is available in the permanent banner at any given time, so new players and rookies will get him moderately easily. Veteran players have probably already seen him at least 8 or 9 times, or a combination thereof in any other gacha pull. Now, normally I'd say this kind of spells the end for Keithturtle, but he has another factor that's going in play that's advantageous to him, and that is the leg ability of Charge Shot, which means that even by himself, he can become a pretty solid Metaphor sustained tank if you build him right, such as say with a Hunter nature or a Sniper nature medal. But as long as he has someone to cover and offset his very low mobility as a tank-legged type, he actually can make himself a very dangerous force to be reckoned with moderately quickly once he gets a Metaforce charge going to fuel his lasers. That being said, as a pure set scorer, despite that, I do honestly have to rate him a very solid 4.5 out of 10, given that even though he has the power that's there, he still lacks to a point the Metaforce sustain that would come hand in hand with it to make himself more of a menace faster. Whereas by himself he can still do it, it just takes him some time to actually get up to speed. Plus, with the tank legs, speed is definitely not going to be one of his strong suits. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him just a little bit higher at a 6 out of 10, given that he definitely has the power output that's required. The tank legs are also pretty solid. I'd say definitely one of the better few tank legs that we do have, especially as free tank legs you can get anywhere in any gacha pull. They will be moderately expensive to raise as a 2-star model, but the return on that will still be very good. The other big weakness to Keithturtle is the fact that he's also triple heavy, which means that if anyone can come in with a gravity attribute skill, that will essentially spell the end of him very quickly. And to a point, even the boosted and passive damage reduction he comes with may not be enough to save him.